My father was a cabinet maker, and he comes from Russia. Started doing cabinet work in Russia, was a prisoner of war in the First World War. Then we came to the States in 1938 and we opened a little shop, essentially doing repair work. And I was just growing up. I must have been around 16 years old at the time. It was traditional that you went into your father's business, you had help. And while I really wanted to be an artist and a sculptor, and was interested in painting, it was inevitable that I would end up in the furniture business, in the furniture making business. My father was very wonderful craftsman, very meticulous, and he always said, measure 3 times and cut once. And I would be of the school of cut 3 times and never measure. So instead of becoming a cabinet maker, I became a furniture designer. I wanted to create vessels to hold the human body. My earliest furniture had flayed legs, like a young filly standing very firmly on its legs, but in itself not being very sturdy, you know. The whole human body, the whole animal body became an element of my designs. These chair shapes of mine became very early elements of that.
Early on, obviously, you didn't work with a computer. How has computer changed the way you design or changed what you do?
The computer has helped us to communicate better. It's a wonderful way to identify to a client far away how a piece evolves.
How did you start working with clay?
Clay was a natural sculptural material for me. And when I started to develop designs that had amorphous shapes, that are difficult to identify in plan and flat views or in elevations, I found the only way I can really show them is by building a little mock-up model. And that in turn made it easy for my clients to visualize what they're getting. I always used to like to go out and draw trees. And I have very few of my sketches left from that period, but I love the way a tree grew out of its stem and then developed into branches, and then from there more branches. That whole growth concept was fascinating. I looked at leaves and things like that, and those were early influences that I think filtered into my design work.
So Vladimir, one of these sofas is designed from a bone.
Yep.
That you found. What kind of a bone was it?
We have no idea we found it on the beach, but it certainly wasn't a fish bone. And I showed it to doctors, friends of mine. They thought it was a hip bone or something like that from an animal.
Good.
And we had it at home for a year or two, and Erica always said, why don't you design a sofa from it? So finally I came up with this design,
which really looks like a bone. Which
really reflected the bone, including the cutout. In the final model, we eliminated the cutout because that was really not cost effective to try to build that into the upholstery. But it really is a very nice, fun piece, very sculptured from all around. And nobody in the manufacturing end of the world could have manufactured this without visualizing what it looked like. How would you make a drawing of it? You take a section here, section there, but you can't really get the feeling for the whole piece until you see it like this.
So your sculptures are essential for manufacturing.
They really are, yes. This is the piece I did for Roche-Beaubois. And the idea was that you could open it up and move it around, and you have a second piece. This is deliberate also because you can have it with or without the back. It becomes an ottoman, or you could do this.
That's fantastic.
You get it going front and back. So it was really a very animated kind of design concept. And when you're dealing with commercial manufacturing, you're trying not to have too many SKUs, which means stock keeping units. So in this case, we really had only 3 pieces, the 2 end pieces and the circular piece that could come with and without a back and became swiveled.
Great.
And you did these wonderful things with it.
Very versatile, amazing piece.
No amount of careful planning can replace good luck. And that's been my career track. It's absolutely wonderful. And Tom, I guess, had seen my furniture, and then he said, I would love to use these pieces for the Gucci stores. So we came up with a concept whereby he could license the design from me, and Bill Sofield would create variations of the design for each different store. So it's used in 360 stores. if less is more is a motto, mine is more is more. But I don't particularly want to be remembered for just 50s designs. I really am happy to have a creativity now. My favorite piece is always the piece I'm working on right now.